I'd like to go through a few different scenarios of typical situations that a middle school student such as yourself may find yourself in. I'd like if you could mentally check off in your head, so keep it to yourself, whether or not you've been in this situation or not. Scenario number one. You're in class and you notice that something that you're saying or doing is causing others around you to laugh, and so you continue to do that act because of the reaction that you're generating from the peers around you. Scenario number two. You're talking with your friends and you're discussing where you're going to go to eat. And so on the table are two options. It's either PT, pizza time, or subs. And in your head you're saying to yourself, of course we're going to go to pizza time. Where else would we want to go? And everybody else around you is saying, oh, I'm feeling heavy subs tonight. That's the spot for tonight. And so then everybody looks at you and they say, so Shash, what do you say? And you're like, oh, I was thinking subs the whole time. It's like, how did you know? It's like we're meant to be together right now. Unbelievable, right? Scenario number three. You're having a conversation with your friends and you're discussing something that you can't partake in, such as maybe your friends are going away to some exotic island for winter vacation. Maybe there's the newest, hottest toy out and they're all talking about how they're getting it. And so you feel the need to let them know that really you are just like them and you're really supposed to go to these crazy places and get these awesome toys. But you make up some crazy excuse as to why you can't, right? So, oh, it was crazy. We booked these tickets to Aruba and then the whole airline, it just like disappeared. Oh, we can't go, right? Or your father ordered you something from China and then, it was crazy. They delivered it to the wrong house and then it went this way and that way. And, but don't worry, we got a refund on Amazon. It's okay, but, we were supposed to get that item. Why is it that we allow other people around us to pressure us, right? Peer pressure. What is it about peer pressure that controls our thoughts and our actions? And how do we prevent it? And what could happen if we don't? I'm going to offer one reason of why I think this happens. I'm sure there's others, but I'll offer one. For most of your lives, you've been dependent on other people, especially your peers. For example, from a physical standpoint, perhaps I couldn't reach something, perhaps my friend was able to provide me with a snack or with some special gizmo that I was able to play with. Okay, we've been depending on our friends to help us fulfill and satisfy some physical needs. On an intellectual level, I'm sure everybody in this room has been in this situation before, myself included. Right? The teacher gives out an assignment, you're not really sure what you're supposed to do, and so you glance over at what the other person is doing, and then you gather what you need to do based on what other people are doing. Or maybe you're not sure what the notes are and you go and you copy your friend's notes so that you can understand how to study for the test. Okay? We rely on our peers to help us be the best version of us. And this is my favorite. This is the craziest one by far. I still don't get it. On an emotional level, did you ever notice how a little kid, he can run into a brick wall, right? And then there's these 4 awkward seconds of he doesn't know what to do, right? He's just quiet. And he's waiting for other people around him to make a reaction so that he can decide what to do, right? And so if the kids around him start laughing and, oh, that was crazy, what a wild play. The kid, yeah, it was crazy, I can't believe it was crazy. Right? Or if the kids around him are like, Oh my goodness, then now the kid starts freaking out. Why are they oohing? Why? You can't control the kid because it's hysterical crying. We are dependent on other people around us all the time for us to decide what we should do at all times. And so now we're moving into this new stage in our lives where we're starting to become independent. And it's through this process in which we're navigating this difficult transition that we fall prey into the traps of what's up ahead. And what's up ahead, boys, is the following. People such as yourselves are dependent on other people today, but the worst thing that happens is, so you got in trouble in math class, so you weren't able to go to your friend's house, okay? The next stage up ahead in high school, boys, is the big boy league. It's not going to be, I got into trouble or my mother has to come in for a meeting with the principal. Okay? The next situation is going to be, there's a party and we're all drinking. Are you in? The next stage in your life is going to be, there's some drug use going on. What do you say? Or we're all going to bully on this kid because this is just what we like to do. Are you joining in on the action? Are you with us or are you not? I want to offer 2 suggestions of what we can do to combat this very, very difficult process of transitioning from dependency to becoming independent. And we're going to notice how it's a balanced approach. And I'll explain what that means. The first, find yourself a good habit. Marcus Mariota was interviewed, and they were asking him what it is that he does, what kind of a routine does he have that allows him to be a successful NFL quarterback. And I'm listening to the interview and I'm waiting for him to say something like he's got this crazy workout regimen, or he's on this exotic vegan diet that allows him to stay in tip-top shape. You know what the guy said? He said he starts his day off by making the bed. Okay. So somehow you make your bed and that leads to NFL touchdown passes. Okay, why don't we all just try this and then we can become NFL quarterbacks, right? And this was probably, if there was a lot of things that I struggled with at my house, and there's a lot of things that I fought with my mother about. This was probably item number 1. I don't get it. Why would you make the bed if you're gonna go back in it? Who makes a bed? You get out of the bed's already open. I'm gonna waste my time to close up the thing that I need to go back into? Who does this? Why would any rational person make a bed? And I'm 28 years old and I still didn't understand it.
Say the same thing about showering.
Until I listened to what Marcus Mariota was saying. And this is what he was saying, boys. As you transition into this independent state of your life, acquiring good habits will help accelerate that process. Okay? The reason why kids, from what I understand, and from what I remember back in my day, the reason why they fall prey into the traps is not because there's so much looking forward to doing these acts and to doing these things. The number 1 reason I heard when I was around that going on was, there's nothing else better to do. So we'll do it. There's nothing else better to do. Come over, we're going to chill. We're just going to chill. There's nothing else better to do, so why not? What Marcus Mariota is doing is he's not saying, I care about the way my bed looks. I care. It's important for me to make sure. What he's saying is the following, boys. Start your day off with a good habit. Continue the day with a good habit. End the day with a good habit. Start doing some things that you process in your head as I'm doing something that's important for me because I want to control my own life. I want to dictate what I do and how I do it. And the more good habits I have, the more direction I have, the more purpose I have, the better I feel about myself. So it's not so much about the bed, it's more about creating a lifestyle for yourself in which you can control it for you. And the second thing that I want to talk about are your friends. If you looked at my personal bio on paper when I was in high school, I was the number one candidate to fall prey into these traps. My parents are divorced. I haven't spoken to my father since the 10th grade. I was overweight. I was self-conscious. I was picked on. I was probably your number one candidate of who was going to go and follow whatever else other people were doing. And I did. The saving grace for me was that the people that I was around were not doing that stuff. The people that I was around were playing Xbox on a Saturday night. The people that I was around were going to PT and ordering Chinese food. That's what we did. And my friends literally saved my life. Not because I was able to do something about it, but because they were just the best people on the planet. And they were there for me when I needed them most. So here's the question, boys. We understand that being independent is super difficult, considering the fact that for the first 12, 13 years of your life, you haven't done a single stitch of independent work. You've been completely dependent on your parents, on your teachers, on your rabbis, on your friends. And so to all of a sudden flip the switch and ask of you to start becoming more independent is a crazy ask, and it's a transition that some of us don't get until much later on. And so if I need to go back and revert to what I'm used to, depending on other people, at least let me do it with the people that I love. Let me do it with the people that are there for me through thick and thin, no matter what. And so if the people that I'm around force me to choose subs over pizza time, which is a crazy situation to begin with, these are not my friends. If the people around me force me to lie about where I'm going or where I'm not going for winter vacation, and I have to fabricate a whole hoax of how an airline went missing just so that I could look good in front of my friends, these are not my real friends. If you have your real friends already, great. Hold on to them and move together. Because at the end of the day, this is what we do. We look at somebody else, we see what he's doing, and we do the same. And so if you can do it together, if you can all move together and avoid falling prey into those peer pressure traps, because they're coming, you're going to get asked to do something that maybe you don't feel so comfortable doing. You're going to be pushed into a direction that maybe you don't feel is in your best interest. Now's the time to do the investment. Now is the time to start learning how to make your bed. Now's the time to start going into the shower. Now's the time to start visiting some maybe grandparents or strangers that you have no clue. But you're doing a good act. Create some good habits. Control your own life. Start waking up in the morning and start saying to yourself, I'm going to do something today because I feel it's best for me. And so you'll start accelerating the independent track that you are destined to have. But keep who your friends are and figure out who are the people that make me the best version of me and who are the people that can help me avoid falling into the traps later on. Thank you.